Well, good evening, everyone. Welcome to our Healthy Hangout for tonight. And we've got Heidi who's going to present like part two of, um, of structural tension. But if you missed part one, it's not a problem. Before I have her introduce her testimonial and come on, I just wanted to say at the beginning, and I'll say at the end, next Wednesday, there is not going to be a Healthy Hangout. Many of us are going to be at the Optavia convention in Atlanta. So we will have our Healthy Hangout the next one, 2 weeks from tonight. So just want you to be aware, and I'll remind everybody at the end, just in case people start coming on and didn't hear this. So no Healthy Hangout next Wednesday, but we will be back in 2 weeks. And we're going to be all motivated and psyched after being at that convention. So with that, Heidi, do you want to come on?
I am on. Hello, hello. Happy to see you guys here. Some new faces and some old faces, which are very welcome both. Not old faces, just recurring faces. So happy to have you all here. I am excited to introduce our testimonial tonight, but I thought it'd be fun while we're doing that and kind of just coming into the room. If you guys want to share in the chat, I have a question for you, and it's who introduced you to Optavia? So whether it was a friend or coworker or family member, or maybe you saw something on Facebook, I'd love to hear that as everyone is coming in, and we can look at those a little bit later. So yeah, I am excited to introduce Kathy. She is my neighbor, and she actually connected with her on Facebook first, and she knows my in-laws. So she actually reached out to me and wanted to hear a little bit about our program. I won't steal any of her thunder, so I thought I'd let her share a little bit about how it's gone for her so far. So Kathy, just unmute yourself if you can, and then there's a little unmute button, and then you'll be good to go. Yeah.
Okay, as Heidi said, my name is Kathy Gaines. I knew Heidi's in-laws. I've known them for like 20 some years, and I know that they're wonderful people, and I knew that Heidi's mother-in-law had done some program. I wasn't sure which program it was, but I knew she had done something. And when I saw Heidi's post about being motivated and wanting to lose weight, I was at a point in my life where I'm 53 and I have 4 grandchildren, and I want to be able to move for them. I have high blood pressure. I'm a diabetic. I have had a weight problem pretty much most of my life. But I've known someone that has gone through the Optavia, which at that time I didn't know that that was the program she went through, but she had amazing results. And at this point, my joints are hurting, and, I want to be able to play with my babies. So I reached out to Heidi, and we started talking. And this was something that, I really feel that she's a gift to me, actually. I am an ordained minister, and I had been praying and praying and praying that God would show me the way to healthier living, not necessarily just weight loss, but I needed to do something to change what I was doing because it wasn't working. My A1C for my diabetes when I started the program, which was the 25th of May, I believe, was right before Memorial Day. And my A1C at that time was 7.8. And I take high blood pressure medicine. My thyroid doesn't work, so I take medication for that. And my goal at the beginning was to be healthy. Then I decided that probably I would like to lose about 70 pounds. Well, this is week 8, I believe. Is it week 8, Heidi? I think.
Don't put me on the spot. No, I don't know. I think so.
I think it's week 8. And so far I have lost 22 pounds. Thank you. Thank you so much. 22 pounds and multiple inches from my waist. But the best news ever was last week. I had to go to the doctor for some poison ivy. And I asked my doctor to do an A1C check and a thyroid check. And I am just so excited about this, but my A1C went from 7.8 on March. It was probably about 2 weeks before that. So let's say at the beginning of May to now, which is probably 10 weeks later, my A1C is actually 5.3. So the science shows that what you eat and how you eat really does play a role in that. Has it been hard? Absolutely, because I feel like because I'm so used to eating junk, I just crave it. But in this program, it's been helping me to understand that there are options that you can use when you're craving that sweetness. I have not had a pop for probably, it's about 9 weeks now, and I don't even miss it. That's the best thing. Sure, I crave fruit a lot, but I know that when I get to my weight loss journey and when I'm most healthy, I know that I'll be able to have some of that. So that's what's keeping me motivated. Not only my babies, but the fact that, this isn't going to be forever, that I'm having to watch what I'm doing, because I'll develop those great habits. Not only in talking to Heidi, but just, in going through life. She's been a great resource for me. And when I'm having problems reading labels and figuring out lean and greens, she's wonderful. I can't say enough about Heidi. So I guess that's my story.
I love it. That was perfect. I love it. Super, super inspiring to hear just how much change can happen in just a short period of time. That's incredible. Like, when you realize we really are made up of what we eat, it really does affect so much. So thank you so much for sharing. Very inspiring, and you're well on your way.
Absolutely.
So, yeah. So we're going to talk a little bit more about structural tension tonight, and I do apologize if some of it's repeat, but I feel like a lot of times repetition is very helpful, and it can kind of solidify things. And just hearing a little different perspective, I'm going to bring in some actual personal, not testimony, but experience with structural tension and what it kind of means to me. And it's kind of funny, this topic keeps coming up for me and why I decided to present on it, because it's something I think I understand, but I don't have it all figured out yet. And it's something I kind of do struggle with. So let me explain. So 5 years ago, I was at a place after having baby number 2. I knew I wanted to lose 30 pounds. And I knew it was pretty clear to me why I wanted that. I could list a whole set of reasons because I had been there before. I knew that I would feel better. I knew that I would have more energy and fit in my clothes better, wanted to, be active and run. And so I could tell you how badly I wanted it. And so it was no problem for me to take the actions necessary to do that. Now I'm a little different. I didn't use our program, but I did do something that did take a while. I counted calories, and it took me about 6 months to lose the weight, but I was very clear on my why. So it did work for me. Fast forward to now, and my situation is very different. So here I am post another baby, about 5 or so pounds from my ideal goal, but 5 pounds, as we know, can make a big difference when it feels like it's all here in the middle. 5 to 10 pounds, and in a pretty comfortable place. Like, I'm at a healthy weight. I am active. I am, my clothes fit, but I'm not where I thought I wanted to be. So what I can tell you is that I am lacking structural tension. I am lacking enough reasons that would push me right now to want to do the work to get there. And that explains to me why I'm at where I'm at. And it's fine. Everyone has a different journey, right? So, but I know that in order to create enough structural tension for myself to get to where I, have said I wanted to be, I would have to have a different goal, a different set of reasons, a different structure to get me there. So it might look like training for a race and needing to be at optimal fitness, which that's coming. So I'm finding my structural tension. So, or if somebody was going to be in some sort of, I had a client that was in like a bathing suit competition, that's seriously, you have to really work hard for something like that. But so what took me, the first time, it's a different set of scenario, it's a different set of circumstances than what it would take now to move me, because my tension is lessened. So we go back to the analogy of the rubber band. You guys look at this and you can see when you're farther away from a goal, it pulls you closer, it pulls you harder towards that. If you're pretty close to your goal, there's not a lot pulling you there. It's going to be harder to make those choices to get there. So changing the endpoint, Jada talked about not changing the endpoint to get closer, like to go back on your goal. What's also true is changing the end goal to be actually further on. So it starts out being about weight loss, right? So I want to tell you what happens and give you a little heads up if you haven't heard about it before. Now that I've been coaching for 4 years, this topic comes up with clients, pretty much every client, because at some point in their journey, they may be very clear in the beginning, just like I was, about why they want to lose weight. It might be 50 pounds, it might be 100 pounds, but it tends to be that the further you are from your goal, the more perceived maybe motivation there is to get out of that place where you are, right? So most people can list a bunch of reasons why they want to lose weight when we're doing the health assessment. And some of them are really compelling whys. I've heard things from wanting to play on the floor with the grandkids, wanting to go to the sports with, the kids, wanting to be more active. And a lot of it I love is that it is involved with spending more quality time with loved ones. That tends to be a big one. But even more compelling reasons, sometimes it's, I don't want to have surgery. I might have to have surgery, or I don't want to die early. Or sometimes it's, I need to have surgery and get to a healthy weight first. So some of these reasons can be so compelling that clients in the beginning are like, I will do anything, to get out of where I am right now. Does that sound relatable at all to anybody? Okay, so then what happens a few months down the road, and it usually hits people at different points in their journey. Somebody said last time it was, 80% of the goal, but I find a lot of times, sometimes 20 pounds into a weight loss, sometimes 30, you reach this comfortable spot where the structural tension is lessened. And you start to wonder, why am I doing something that's perceived hard if I'm pretty comfortable with where I'm at right now? I've made a lot of progress. Does it really matter if I do this and slip up here and there? I'm doing pretty good. And so old habits start to slide back in at that point. And I can't say this happens to everybody, but it's so common that I've actually started kind of giving clients a heads up that this might happen. And if you start to recognize those thoughts, that's the time to change, to reassess your goals. and to maybe change an endpoint, really assess what it is that you're wanting, and probably add something in besides weight loss, a different type of goal, a different type of health related goal. Because what that does is kind of put the stretch a little bit more and keeps you going where you want to be. So when people reach that point, sometimes they're thinking they're at a plateau. But what I would really call it is a stalemate, because it's not a plateau if the actions have changed. If you start adding things in and doing things a little bit different, it's really what we've changed is our actions. So, so you no longer being focused on the goal. So what we need to do is create some more structural tension and burn the boat. So have you ever heard of that phrase, burning the boat? Anybody? So I'm going to explain it to you. So imagine you're getting ready to make a decision to do something, and you know you're not happy with where you are. So imagine you're on some land, and the boat is your decision. You're jumping in the boat. You want to head somewhere else. So you're going to head to an island of decision where you've decided what you want to do. And so you make it there, and you're there for a while, start to look around and realize, well, maybe this island isn't everything that I wanted. Maybe I want to get back in the boat and head back to land. Even though I didn't like it there, I'm just going to, go back and forth a little bit. And some people, you may go through that for a period of years. That's what's called yo-yoing, right? Have you ever heard of that? Yo-yo dieting, where you consistently are pulled back from where you don't want to be to where you do want to be, but you don't keep that decision going and keep the actions going. It's a lot like being seasick, going back and forth. So the idea is burning the boat when you make the decision is making it impossible to go back and being so clear on where you want to be. And I can tell you this because I have been there and been, on a little yo-yo back and forth in the boat. And now I understand exactly why. So when we burn the boat, we take away the opportunity to go back to where we came from. We're pushing ourselves to go forward. And the idea is doing this, we're constantly searching for a state of optimal health. So the journey's never really over. And I do believe we should constantly be striving to be the best version of ourselves. Don't you agree? It's, beyond weight loss, this is a lifelong thing. So I'm going to share with you a little tool that I use and was introduced last week that can really help us stay focused on our goals. And it's called the structural tension chart. I don't know if any of you have gotten it printed off or have seen it in Healthy Friends or Healthy Habits. But if you do have it, just go ahead and take it out. If you don't know what I'm talking about, just grab a piece of paper and we can take some notes and you can transfer it later to your structural tension chart. But I did one of these for myself a little while back, and I love it. I love it. It just really, really puts things into perspective. So what I'm going to show you here is a blank one and what it looks like so you know that it's the correct thing. I'm going to see if you guys can see this.
Heidi, I can share my screen with it.
Okay. Well, yeah, we don't need to keep it up. Yeah, my computer does not show it.
We can't see what you've got.
Can't see it. Okay. So if you do share your screen, I'll start talking about it while you pull it up. That'd be awesome, Mitzi. Okay, cool. So what we have here is a little visual. And what I want you guys to do on the bottom here, there's a kind of a paragraph, a place where you can write a paragraph on the bottom, and it says current reality. And this is where you'd really describe your current state. You would, describe everything about where you're at now. And to give you some ideas, I'm going to get a little vulnerable and tell you kind of what I put on mine. I wrote in quotes, pretty good, not always in control of my choices, 5 to 10 extra pounds that I don't want to be carrying around, a little bit lower confidence, not feeling balanced, kind of feeling a little yo-yo-ish. So maybe, being real strict during the week and kind of losing it on the weekends. That's kind of just of a description of what I have been dealing with. And then, so yours is going to look obviously completely different. Let it, whatever describes your current reality. And this is a good opportunity to be very honest with yourself. And yeah, put it all out there, because you don't have to share it with anybody. And then it allows you to put a time frame for how long you want to reach this goal. And I love the idea of putting an extended time frame, and maybe doing one for 6 months and maybe doing one for a month, because a lot of the things that we do will apply to one and not the other. But I love it that, it doesn't put a limit on being healthy. 6 months down the road, am I still going to want all these things? And the answer is yes. So, and then at the top, what I want you guys to do is just describe your ideal state of health. Whether that's, however long from now. So for me, I want to be at my healthiest weight. I put a weight goal. I want to be active, fit, happy, no out of control scenarios, strong, in control of my choices, good example, and balanced. So that kind of describes where I would love to be 6 months from now and a year from now and all of that. So, and then on all these lines, so we call these the foundational choice is that's the goal. That's the foundational thing. That's what we really stand for. And it's something ideally that is not going to change with time. I mean, if you have a house that's built on a rock, it's going to stand, right? If you have something that's built on sand, it's going to fall. So being very clear on what you stand for, your ideal, is very important, because if you stand for something, you don't stand for something, you can fall for anything. So that's your foundational choice. And then all of these other things are going to be your secondary choices, which are the action steps. And this is cool because you can be creative. You can list everything that you think you can do that will help support your foundational choice. And this, of course, is also going to be very, very individual. So it might, for some, a lot of you, it might be being on the 5-in-1 plan or a different plan, whatever plan that you're on, you would write that in there. And then what things are you going to do to help stay on the plan? Whether it's daily tracking, communication with your coach, you can write water in there, activity related goals. And I love including things like personal development goals, because, if you can have a well-rounded, improvement and you're working on personal development, that things are going to kind of fall in line. For me, I put a couple books I'm reading that I do believe are going to help with personal development while I'm working on my health. If it includes a certain routine, like in the morning, are you going to spend time in prayer or meditation or whatever your routine is, that's going to kind of keep you on track. This is everything that you would want to put in this section. So does that make sense so far? All right. Any questions? We have a few minutes left. And the nice thing about this is that you can do these for just about anything. You can do this for your health, for coaches. You can do this for your business. You can do these for short-term goals. You can do it for long-term goals. And, it might change as you go, but the idea is your foundational goal will not change, because this is really the ideal and what you stand for. So again, just as a recap, structural tension is basically creating the action steps or identifying what's going to get you from point A to point B, and maybe even elaborating on those so that it is more of a stretch, if that makes sense. If you feel comfortable, I'm pretty good where I'm at, you know, I don't need to do anything and make any changes. That's kind of the signal to your brain that I need to create some more structural tension that's going to get me to my ideal, right? So, and that can happen however many times that needs to happen. And the last thing I want to share is just, you know, about our go-to strategy of stop, challenge, choose. You know, that's something that's going to help you guys stay on track, you know, for life. This is something I can't stress it enough. It's like a muscle. And we have bad habits that are really, you know, grooved really deep in our brain. They're always going to be there, but we have to build new habits on top of those and to be deeper and stronger than the old ones. And emotional eating is a rut. It's a rut that we can all get in, and I know a lot of you can relate. But by keeping ourselves in a structure and saying things like, I don't do that when I'm stressed. I don't, you know, I do this, you know, to help with my stress, and just changing the way that we talk to ourselves. Another fun idea, wear a rubber band on your wrist and snap it when you start to feel those weird feelings that are like not compatible with your goals. Like, wake up here, okay? I've got my eye on the prize. And there really is so much freedom in structure. You know, when we start to act like we don't care, or we go back on what we say we wanted, that's a very slippery slope. So the idea is, you know, keep your eye on the prize, keep that structure strong, and you'll avoid the yo-yo, and you'll avoid being seasick and everything that goes along with that. So let's burn that boat. That's the idea. So thank you guys for listening. Hope that made sense. And let me know if you have any questions.
Thank you, Heidi. We've got like 1 minute left.
Yeah.
So does anyone have any? Burn the boat. So just as we close for tonight, so if you're a coach, you're going to stay on. If you're a client, you're going to have a nice evening, I hope. And remember that next week, we will not be having our healthy hangout. We will be back in 2 weeks. So, and that's about it. So, have a great night, everyone. Coaches stay, and we will see everybody in 2 weeks. All right, take good care.